What's up, dudes? Max here, back with an update to Sub-Zero. As today on the Combat Cast / Watchtower stream, we got a huge amount of information about what Sub-Zero does, his moves, his abilities, his gear moves, as well as customization. You guys might have caught it some point last week on many other channels, but there was a whole bunch of gear that was sort of leaked for Sub-Zero in the version of the game that recently updated that had him available but not playable. A lot of this customization options and everything they were shown, me and Kenny were in the car driving back from some event while this was happening, and we were just fangasming out at all of this stuff. And it looks ridiculously cool, and in my opinion, just based off the screenshots they showed of the people that found the leak stuff and the stuff that they showed off today with the character, I think Sub-Zero possibly has some of the coolest customization items in the game, simply because it's a Mortal Kombat ninja. I hate the fact that I love Shoto characters, and I love the generic Mortal Kombat ninja characters and the variations of how cool they can be. No pun intended, but seriously, Sub-Zero looks absolutely awesome. I love the fact that you can make him look like classic versions of Mortal Kombat characters, newer versions with capes and techno armor. You can make him look like Reptile and Ermac, mostly because his color customizations will allow you to make him look like any other ninja, and that's usually a very big no-no in other MK games because the Mortal Kombat ninjas are purely defined by their colors, and now they don't have to worry about that because Sub-Zero is the only one in a game like Injustice 2. Now let's talk about his gameplay. As we all picked up from the trailer, Sub-Zero essentially is a hybrid version of his Mortal Kombat self. He had 3 variations in MKX that gave him an ability and access to all these different moves, and they kind of meshed all of that together for the most part into this version of Sub-Zero in Injustice 2. Starting off the most basic stuff, he does have his slide back. That is his invincible wake-up attack, and it does add a little bit more damage just like it does in Mortal Kombat X. He does have an ice ball. However, the ice ball is dramatically different in this game. It'll pass through other projectiles just how all other projectiles kind of pass through each other in MK and Injustice games with the regular one, but that regular one doesn't freeze the opponent. This is the first for Sub-Zero, I believe, where ice ball will not freeze the opposition. You have to use the meter burn version. However, there is something I'm extremely excited about with this character that changes the formula of Injustice 2 quite a bit with what Sub-Zero can do. If you meter burn his ice ball, you can actually collide with other projectiles and blow through them, which is a dramatic change. I don't even know if any other projectiles in the game even allow for this, simply because this is a notorious thing with NetherRealm style games. Projectiles pass through each other, they don't collide, they don't have projectile points that kind of are one is better than the other or anything like that. For the first time, Sub-Zero's meter burn version of his ice ball is going to clash through projectiles, meaning that you can freeze the opponent, lock them into position from full screen at the cost of a bar, and then go in and get a combo. That is pretty awesome in my opinion, and will actually make the opposition think once or twice about throwing a projectile against a character like Sub-Zero, which is very good. He's also got the hammer attack that is from Mortal Kombat X in his Cryomancer version. This thing, I think, bounces the opponent a little bit. He also can do it from the air, and you can meter burn it from the air as well. We'll see how fast of an overhead this thing really is and if people will actually fall for it, because I'm pretty sure Sub-Zero does not have his notorious back 2 from Mortal Kombat X, which was one of his better openers to kind of like open people up from an overhead attack. I didn't see it anywhere in the gameplay demo so far, so I'm not really assuming that this is going to be a very 50-50 heavy character. He's mostly going to be kind of defensive for the most part because of a couple other moves that we'll talk about in a couple seconds. But he does have some interesting offensive stuff. Similar to MKX in the Cryomancer version, he had a command grab eventually, which was most likely going to be down, back, forward, and a button. This move would grab you, stab you a couple of times, and then set up for a whole bunch of different stuff if you meter burned it. And now in Injustice 2, he has the same command grab, but lucky enough, if you meter burn the thing, you do get a full combo. So that actually changes Sub-Zero to be a much more offensive character, simply because command grabs are very good in Injustice 2 in setting up for them and their recovery and everything like that. Giving him a command grab that you can meter burn and actually freeze the opposition and then go in and get a combo naturally makes him more of an offensive character in my opinion. Is just setting up and getting good at the down, back, forward motion. The thing that does make him a bit more defensive and really rewards more patient play is the fact that his ice clone is readily available on the character. However, it is his trait. It doesn't come back immediately, it does have a recharge time, but I find it kind of funny because the ice clone naturally in a lot of other Mortal Kombat games has a recharge timer on it, like just in the special move itself. You can't just throw out ice clone after ice clone after ice clone or else it would be too good. In this game, he essentially has that, but you get to see the recharge timer because it is his trait, and it recovers pretty damn fast. The interesting thing about it, though, is that his trait is meter burnable. So you can not only use the trait, you can meter burn the trait and put out a second ice clone, and he jumps back while doing this, so it kind of creates a barrier around him. These moves will also apparently block projectiles as well, so if projectile attacks are incoming, the different versions of the ice clone will actually soak those projectile hits, kind of giving you a barrier to approach or anything like that. But similar to Mortal Kombat X, you can pick up the ice clone and throw it, even with the airborne version, which is pretty interesting and a nice variation. A lot of his combo strings are very similar to MKX. He has a forward 3-3 string, which is a bit different and wasn't something in MKX, but is probably one of his faster mid attacks. But at the same time, he looks fairly interesting simply because a lot of his game plan from MKX is going to be a bit different in this game, and there's a lot more screen space and everything of that nature that comes with Injustice 2. I am excited. I do want to play more with him. I just hope that he's not an overly defensive character, and that usage of the command grab to open up people and get your damage is going to be a primary focus of how people kind of generally use Sub-Zero in this game. However, unfortunately, a lot of the stuff that came with his gear moves and the special moves associated with that we did see in the trailer are indeed gear moves. You're going to have to unlock these moves through the game, through playing a whole bunch, and my biggest gripe with Injustice 2 is that the gear moves are some of the most fun that the characters get access to, and right now all the Noob Saibot / Bi-Han style moves that he has are locked behind those gear moves, and we're just going to have to hope that this gear system eventually allows us to unlock them. It does kind of bug me that Injustice 2 has all this fun available to the characters that is locked behind a random loot system that you eventually just have to play a ton for. I really hope to see a bunch more different towers that are available to unlock these gameplay items, because these gameplay items are some of the most fun that characters have access to, and I just want to do that, and it sucks not having access to them because of the gear system. Finally, they did go over a bit more of what the character can look like in terms of loadouts with like more techno gear. You can remove his cape. You can give him classic Mortal Kombat looking costumes. You can give him masks that look very similar to Noob Saibot, like the brother of Sub-Zero type stuff, which is fan-freaking-tastic. I love the way this stuff looks. I love the fact that you can customize a Mortal Kombat ninja with different colors to make him look like Ermac or Scorpion or Rain or anything like that, to make a completely flat white shaded Sub-Zero or all black armor. I think that stuff looks absolutely awesome and really leaves me intrigued for the future of what Mortal Kombat X could bring, because a lot of the stuff that carries over from a game like Injustice to MKX and MKX to Injustice 2 was very much preserved. A lot of the things in those games kind of took over to the next game. So I'm really excited for the future of a game like Mortal Kombat 11 that could potentially take something like the gear system and allow for customizable looking characters in a Mortal Kombat game. That would be absolutely awesome. I just hope that a lot of gameplay elements are not locked to the gear system, because that seems to be a very big active complaint. But it just leaves me very excited for the future, especially for the fact that there is another character that is in the game right now. There's going to be Raiden that's going to be showing up at some point, and we'll be able to customize him as well to get kind of a pretty good idea as far as what could be in Mortal Kombat 11, which should be announced in just under a year or so if they stick to the same game plan they have for the past, well, nearly a decade. Either way, I think Sub-Zero looks absolutely awesome in the game. Oh, wait a minute. There was something at the end. They did a small tease of what his ice clone could be potentially changed to. As Sub-Zero jumps back and his ice clone is no longer a mimic of himself, it's a huge-ass bear. Now, I don't know if they're really referencing anything with this. However, my own personal take on it is that there is going to be a customization item for Sub-Zero, similar to many other characters in Injustice 2. You can change the look of their traits. Characters like Black Adam can actually change the way his orbs look that hover around him, and other characters get kind of similar things. I'm guessing you can do something similar with Sub-Zero, where you can unlock customization items specifically for his trait being the ice clone, where he's going to jump back and leave something else. Like, he can actually leave an ice clone maybe of other characters. He can leave an ice clone of animals, maybe other Mortal Kombat characters. I don't know. I think that's what it is right now. But at the same time, it would be interesting to see if there is different ways to set out different versions of ice clones. I wouldn't be surprised for gameplay reasons that they are going to keep it one set version, and this is all very cosmetic. It just looks cool, the fact that he can jump back and set a different ice clone than the one you are used to seeing. Either way, that's all I got for Sub-Zero right now in Injustice 2. There will be more coming up very soon. I'll have a full story mode playthrough. We'll do a week of the character as well. And I just hope the character is a lot of fun, because I wasn't too thrilled with how Red Hood came out. As always, dudes, thank you a ton for watching the video. I'll be back with more updates to Sub-Zero as well, and we also got the Sub-Zero Legacy that's going to be continuing right until the character comes out on the 11th of next week. Thank you, dudes, a ton for watching. My name is Max, and I'll see you next time.